Hi guys, welcome back to today's deep dive on United Parcel Services. And just want to say that I mentioned this a few months ago, right? This is a recap and a review and an update on United Parcel Services as well, right? Okay, so let's deep dive into it. But before that, important information disclosure and disclaimer also. This content is only for educational purposes only. This content is created for informational and educational purposes only, and it does not constitute financial investment, legal or tax advice. It is not a recommendation. Any analysis, charts or company mentions are for learning and discussion purposes and do not represent a buy, sell or hold recommendation or any specific trading or investing instructions. No license. I am not a MAS licensed financial advisor. You should conduct your own research and consult a licensed professional before making any investment or trading decisions. Market risk. Investing and trading involve risk. Markets can be volatile, especially in sectors affected by news, earnings, regulations, or clinical developments. Losses can occur. No guarantee. Past performance, historical data, technical patterns, or dividend history do not guarantee future results. Data accuracy. Information is based on publicly available sources as of 4th of March 2026. Accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed, right? In short, basically, whatever I say in this video or in this content, do not take it as true, right? Do not take it as a fact, right? You need to do your own due diligence. Basically, take everything that I say as BS, right? Okay, take it as I'm not speaking the right things, right? Okay, you need to go and verify and do your own due diligence, right? Okay, without further ado, what did I got right on the 29th of December, right? 2025. It's uploaded in our YouTube channel, right? So if you were to look at it, go through, I encourage you to go through that video, right? And in that video, when it was uploaded, right? Okay, I recorded it a couple of days earlier, right? Or at least one day earlier, and it was uploaded maybe 1 day later or 2 days later. But the price during the video was around $100, right? Okay, $100 to $101, right? Okay. Since then, price have reached a high of 122.41, right? Okay, as of February 12th, 2026, right? Okay. And the dollar difference since my video is basically $21, right? On the $100 stock is roughly 20 over percent. To be exact, is 21% and 21.25%, right? Which is pretty okay, right? Considering right now is only early March, right? Okay, and this is like roughly 2 months plus a little bit, right? 2 months plus a little bit percentage difference appreciation of 21%. Right, okay, this is like 10% appreciation on the stock per month, right, roughly there. So to take a look at the video here, I did a very in-depth deep dive on the stock based on technical levels, and I'm going to update you since it has already went up quite a bit, right, 21 over dollars. What is the technical points and what are the things to look at with an updated view, right? Okay, so but let's jump into it fundamentally first. What are the key business pillars for UPS, right? Okay, basically it is one of the US domestic package is in the US domestic package delivery kind of segment, right? The largest segment, right? Okay, handling millions of letters and packages delivered within the United States, right? It actually handles international packages as well, right? Operation in Europe, Asia, and even Latin America, right? Focusing on cross-border trade. Supply chain solutions, it includes freight, large cargo, healthcare logistics, and even specialized transportation services. And it focuses a lot, quite a bit on healthcare logistics as well, right? It's a high margin area focusing on delivering temperature sensitive medicine and lab results, right? Okay, let's take a look a little bit on the financial side, right? Okay, based on previous year, right? 2025 revenue approximately $92.5 billion, right? Okay, and 2026 guidance is a range of $90 to $94 billion, right? Okay, so roughly in that range as well, slightly higher or slightly lower is expected, right? Okay, the balance view, right? The balance view. The positive side on UPS is that it's successfully winning back customers who left during past labor union negotiations, and there's risk on its side also, right? Okay, higher labor costs from Teamster, a large labor union representing UPS workers, right? Okay, large higher labor costs from Teamsters contract and fluctuating fuel prices, especially rising fuel prices, may put pressure on profit margins, right? Okay, higher fuel prices will eat into their costs and will reduce their profit margin as well, right? Okay, so the road ahead for this company, they are adopting a better, not bigger strategy, focusing on high value shipments like medical, small businesses, rather than chasing the big volume packages, right? High volume packages. Key growth drivers, they are investing in robotic sorting centers to lower the cost of processing each package, right? They are also expanding into healthcare, building a specialized warehouse to handle the growing demand for cold chain, right? Okay, temperature controlled shipping for medicines. Their capital allocation, they have a strong commitment to returning cash to investors through dividends, right? Which is a great thing. But they even though these are good news going ahead, right? Going forward, it may or may not happen, right? Okay, but there are still risks key risks to consider, right? Okay, economic slowdown. If the people spend less money or shopping online, UPS deliver fewer packages, which hurt their revenue, right? Okay, and there's intense competition as well. Competition from FedEx, Amazon. Amazon has its own delivery network, right? Okay, could lead to price war, right? Okay, which will affect them as well. Labor costs, rising wages for drivers and warehouse staff can eat into their profit, right? Okay, so final thought is that UPS is the merchant builder. It offers steady dividends it offers steady dividend, but stiff competition and high operation cost is the risk that they are having, right? Okay, it's an ongoing thing anyway, right? Okay, so let's take a look at the dividend, right? Okay, dividend wise, the company or the stock currently pays a dividend of roughly close to 5%, right? Okay, considered high for a stable industrial company. The earnings outlook is that the expected earnings per share for 2026 is roughly $8.50 to $9.10, right? This is an improvement over 2024, which is $6.75, or even 2025, which is $6.56. So quite a big jump, right, in terms of earnings per share outlook, right? And this is expected. It may or may not happen also, right? But this is expected because the company is recovering from high one-time labor expenses, right? Okay. Growth focus is that investors are watching Project Magenta, right? The company's internal plan to cut $3 billion in costs by the end of 2026 through technology, right? Okay. If it works out, definitely, I feel that the profit margin might improve quite a bit, right? And return on the share price could signal that, right? Okay. Valuation, right? The stock is trade at a P ratio of roughly 15.5 times, which is slightly lower than its 10-year historical average of 18 times, right? Okay. Let's take a look at the technical levels, right? Okay. I covered this on a few months ago, right? On the 29th of December. But let me just put it more clear in a slide, right? Okay, the stock price has been moved. This is the current situation, right? Okay, slightly different from the current situation back in 29th of December when I recorded my video. But basically over here, you can see that the stock price has been moving higher since the all-time multi-low established on 13th of October, right? In fact, it established 3 times, which is over here, right? Okay. Reaching a high of 122.41 on 12th of February. So the current situation since my last video is that it has been going higher, right? Okay, which is a good thing, right? The major support is still $82, right? Established 3 times. The 3 times is established, bounce up from $82 was 12th of March 2020, 11th of September 2025, and 14th of October 2025, right? Okay, so it tested 3 times, right? And it started bouncing higher, right? Okay, so this support is actually a very strong support, and later on I'll show you the charts why this is a major support, partly also because it is establishing a long-term double bottom, right? Okay, and typically in technical terms double bottom is a strong support, right? Strong support doesn't mean it won't break, right? Okay, but still consider a very strong support, right? Okay, short-term support are established, as you can see here, 90.84, 98.41, and 103.59, which is all done very recently, right, as the stock price goes higher, which I will show you in the chart later on. So resistance level, major resistance is established way back in 2022, right, at $233.72. Right now is $100+ ish. So the potential, right, okay, based on support and resistance only, we can see that just based on numbers, right, okay, we can see that major support over here, major resistance over here, price is now at 1xx, in fact 2x or 1x thereabout, right? Okay, so in terms of a major support over here and major resistance over here, potential that it drops to here is a small drop, right? Okay, potential that it rise from this price to this price is a big move, right? It's a big move. So just based on numbers, right, okay, it makes sense that we want to look for bullish sell-up to see whether we can try to take advantage of this stock moving much higher to test major resistance, right? Okay, having said that, stocks don't go up all the time, right? Okay, we need to manage our risk and see what are the possible trading scenarios, right? Okay, because it can go up, it can come down, right? Okay, so over here, the bull case is that price breaks the recent short-term resistance level, which is 122.41, right? It may signal a higher move, right? Staying above 122.41 after breaking this resistance level, right, may show that traders and investors are supporting the price at that level, right? Okay. The bad case is that a drop below the short-term support, right? Okay, like the 3 short-term supports that I mentioned. If it breaks, it might lead to lower prices, right? Okay, and in terms of risk management, we always have a fixed, consistent risk using percentage on our capital, and in that sense, example is 1%. Based on our capital, right? Okay, like if you have 100,000, you have 10,000, right? Okay, 1% of 10,000 is just $100, right? Okay, if you have 100,000, then 1% of 100,000 is $1,000. So risk management, meaning that you only use 1% of your capital as a risk to make the trade, right? Okay, provided the trade makes sense, right? It's a sound, safe trading plan with your stop loss or identified in case you are wrong, right? Okay, and next thing is that you want to take a look at IYT, right? It's a transportation exchange traded fund, right? Okay, UPS is a major component and usually move in the same direction as the broader transport sector, right? Okay, so you might want to, and typically they move in tandem, right? They move side by side most of the time, not all the time, right? Okay, let's get into the charts to show you some technical levels, right? Okay, so we are at the daily time frame for UPS. We can see that since the dates that I mentioned just now, $82 was here, $82 was here, and it went much higher, right? Okay, and my video that I did just before the new year was somewhere here, right? 29th of December, right? Okay, and after that it continued to move much higher, right? Okay, and like I say in my previous video, it has already started to turn up trend, right? And typically trends last pretty long, right? Based on previous instances, we can see that, right? Okay, so it just started only, right? Okay, so likelihood that the trend might continue is pretty high compared based on previous instances, right? Okay, so you can see over here, right, all the trends are actually lasting quite a long time, right? Okay, so this trend might be the same, might not be, right? Okay, so we still need to do our due diligence, right? Okay, take note of the short-term support levels to establish a trading plan, right? Okay, this is the support, this is support, and this is the support, and all these levels are already mentioned in my previous slides, right? That I mentioned much earlier. So for traders and investors, should look at these support levels, right, to make your decisions, right? Okay, because a lot of times this might be the lowest point short term wise that it can go before bouncing higher. You can see that over here, came down the lowest point, then bounce up, right? Came down lowest point, then bounce up, came down lowest point, then bounce up. So these are pretty good support, right? Even though they are short term support, right? Okay, not as strong as the support on the at $82, right? Okay, why I say this, because the support at $82, if you look at the monthly time frame, okay, let me take everything away, right? If you look at the monthly time frame, right? Okay, this is actually a double bottom support, right? Okay, and this was established multi-years, right? Okay, so many years ago it was established before, and you can see that it went so much higher, right? Okay, and during COVID period it started surging, right? Okay, partly also some of you might argue, oh, because everyone was hit by COVID and they order online and there's a lot of delivery, right? Okay, and this downward move can be explained also, right? After people got out of COVID, less delivery, right? Okay, but like I say again, company moving forward, they are also focusing on margins, profit margins, and not so much of revenue, but improving their operations as well, right? So and just nice, it hit this all-time low, right? Established multi-year low, and it started bouncing higher, right, from $82. Right now it's roughly 113, right? Okay, it hit a high and came back down a little bit, right? This is what we call a consolidation phase, right? Okay, so short-term consolidation is expected, right? Okay, it might even go test the most recent low here, right, or even here, right? The way I see it, these two possibility is there, right, that it will come back down somewhere within this range, right, where the support are before bouncing higher, right? Okay, it may break one or two support before bouncing, right? Okay, it's hard to say, but definitely the three support levels should be used as a reference to develop your trading plan, right? Okay, in anticipation of the correction ending, right? Okay, it's not ending now, right? We can see that it keeps getting lower since hitting a high on the 12th of February, right? Okay, so it's in a correction mode, but like all stocks that is going higher, there's a correction over here, then bounce up, right? There's a correction over here and bounce up. There's a correction over here, then bounce up, right? Okay, this is a correction. How low you get still remains to be seen, but definitely you need to use some technical price action, buying momentum, or any confirmation of buyers coming in to buy more, right? Demand and supply before you get in, right? Okay, don't go in blindly just because I cover these stocks, right? Okay, do your own due diligence, right? Okay, now having said that, these are the price points, right? I just want to show you based on this major support and this major high, right? Okay, we can see current price right now is here, right? Okay, so just based on the numbers like I mentioned in my slides, right? Okay, the potential for it to go higher to test this is there, right? Potential for it to come lower to test this is there also, right? Okay, you can even take it as a flip of the coin, right? Okay, but having said that, right? Having said that, even though it could be the flip of the coin, the distance from current price to the major support and the distance from current price to the major resistance, we can see that for it to appreciate, to test resistance, this is a big move, right? Okay, for it to test this is a small move, right? Smaller move. So having said that, right, in terms of risk to reward, is still worthwhile, right? Okay, long term wise to bank on this risk to reward kind of based on support and resistance, right? Okay, that's all I have to say about the technicals, right? I think most of this is covered in my slides already. Go check it out again if you didn't, you miss out, right? Okay, some scenarios and risk management, right? Okay, that I mentioned earlier. There's some considerations you might want to take note before you trade, right? Check earnings dates, right? Okay, the company's earnings report often move the entire stock market, right? Okay, at least move the stock itself, right? Okay, so they reveal how much people are buying, right? So take note of that. Monitor oil prices. Higher fuel costs acts as a damper for UPS, right? If oil prices goes up, usually UPS profits drops. Position sizing. Manage your position size. Like I say much earlier, don't over trade, right? Okay, typically use 1% of your capital for one trade, right? So even if you lose, you only lose that 1%, right? Okay, and take note of labor costs, right? Okay, neighbor news, right? Neighbor news. Keep an eye on any news regarding regional labor disputes or changes in postal service regulations. This actually does affect UPS, which is where its business is from, right? Okay, so that's all from me. Hope this update on UPS is good for you, and congrats to you if you have followed my 29th of December video on UPS and actually took action, right? Definitely you may have made some good profits. Very happy for you. Till I see you again, may the profits always be with you, and may you trade safely, and I'll see you real soon.
I hope you loved the video and learned something new from it. If you want to receive more videos like this, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell for notification. And if you want to learn more about the trade to win formula that I use in my trades, click on the link or button around this video to join my next free online workshop. In the workshop, you'll learn everything from finding the best opportunities to making consistent winning trades in the markets. I'll see you on the inside.